Hello, my name is Ricky Volk, and this video is going to be the making of for my song Hold Me to the Flame. In this video, I'll take you through the process start to finish of creating this song. A lot of it will just be me talking about what I'm doing, and it's going to get really choppy because I suck at video editing. But hopefully there's something to be gained by watching this. It starts out as a song for the Ryan Tedder monthly class. It was the second song for that class, and I missed the deadline by about 8 months or something. But that's how it begins, and it winds up as my first official song. This isn't a how-to video, but it is just a document of my steps and my process of writing and recording songs. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy the video. So now begins song 2. Technically this was supposed to be started on Saturday, but I was still working on my first song on Saturday, which was due on Friday. And now it's Monday, and I have to submit the vibe, like the section of the song that I create for this second song. And I haven't necessarily started. However, this time I have more thoughts in my head because I knew this was going to be due. So I've been thinking about it, and I want to do something with like a little more attitude probably. So I've kind of got a guitar riff figured out already, just one riff. And debatably the lyric, "Hold me to the flame." I don't know why, and that might not make it into the song at all. And the color green for some reason. So now it's 9:10 on Monday, and this is due at midnight. And I'm just gonna start with the drums this time so that I have an easier time with time. And I'm going to try and fit my riff to some drums, and I'll probably call it good at that point. Do like a section of the song. We're supposed to add extra production for this song, but for the sake of just the vibe tonight, I'll probably keep it pretty simple, but I'll get the groove across. Another thing I'm going to do differently this time around is I'm going to use this guitar. It's my like Ed Sheeran Little Martin, and it's in standard tuning, whereas the last song I did pretty blind using an acoustic guitar I have that's in open E tuning, which I don't have any idea about what the notes were going to sound like with that. This I know a lot more about standard tuning. So creating the part will go faster for me this time. I imagine on the downside, it's more likely to sound like stuff I've already done, which is not the point of this assignment, so I'm probably going to have to work extra hard in the production area to create a unique song for myself. I've been playing around, and I think this is the sort of riff I'm gonna go with. Got a few variants on that could work for different parts of the song already. So it's kind of faster than the other one was. It's a little more intense and a little more rock. This is an acoustic guitar, but I'm open to the idea of doing electric either instead or paired with this, which will further set it apart from the prior song. But this time I'm going to start with drums, so the whole process is much easier for me, even though I suck at writing drums, so this will probably be difficult anyways. 11:24 p.m. and I've got my second vibe, basically just some scratch guitar and the drums that will not stay in the final version, but got the ideas across. And the entire song was supposed to be written and due in a complete form last week, Friday at midnight. And then it was supposed to be fully produced and turned in tonight at midnight, and I haven't done anything except that initial vibe from last week, whenever. So doing it on time is completely out the window, because I basically haven't started. My life just hasn't allowed me to even touch it, but I'm still gonna do it. I have been able to think about it, and all that has amounted to is me just knowing that I have to change the drum beat in some form, and I've structured it out, riff-wise at least, in my mind. The drum beat is extremely simple currently, and I'm going to keep it simple, but that is extremely generic, and so I'm not going to keep that. The main riff here, to make the chorus in some form, and then the more staccato thing, I'm going to make the bridge. And then the thing that comes after it, I'm planning to make the pre-chorus. So now it's January 27th, Wednesday night, and my goal is to just record all of the guitar to that drum loop I made. Also right now I'm just trying to figure out the small details throughout the song. Whenever I write guitar parts, I insert just tiny little differences throughout the entire song. Like at the beginning of this song, I'm going to start it with like that scraping. Then all the verses, I'm going to do like a scraping staccato thing. And I'm going to add different details in both the first and second verse that I have to figure out still. And I have to play it all well enough to record. It'll probably take a while, but then I'm thinking for the bridge, the first half of it is going to be the tremolo picking thing, like, and lead that into something more complex. I don't know, I'm gonna figure it out, but that's my goal for tonight. Hopefully I can pull it off. So today is February 28th, the last day of February, and the Ryan Tedder class ended with January. And I've still been working on this second song, but extremely gradually, mostly on drums lately. I recorded the guitar the one night, pretty much just in like an hour or something, and the drums I have taken weeks to do. I've just kind of spent like a few hours on them every weekend that I could, and I finished them today, and now I can finally move on. It's the most intensive drum track I've ever made for any song, because it has 17 drum tracks, which I have had to email individually to myself via Gmail, because that's the only way that doing songs on GarageBand on an iPhone will send to me without using GarageBand on my computer as well, which I don't. And now I'm going to download each one of these on my computer, put them into Pro Tools, and then individually edit all of them. So even though it's the end of the month, and I've taken forever to do this song, I'm trying to get it to sound as best as it possibly can, better than I've ever made any song sound. The last song didn't sound that great in my opinion, like it was an alright song written fast, but it could have sounded better, could have been more on time, and I didn't put any time into the production because that wasn't one of the goals for that. This one, even though I have completely thrown away the deadline for the class, I'm gonna make it the best I possibly can, and so that's why there's 17 drum tracks. I just think it's kind of cool to see where this song has come from. I know I've taken a long time and not gotten very far yet, but this is going to end up being my shortest song I've ever written, and it's kind of shaping up to be like an Ed Sheeran-y song, except probably heavier, maybe more intense, kind of like a rock bit to it, but it's still all acoustic guitar so far, so it's not like it's electrified Foo Fighters or anything of the sort, but it's got some heaviness to it, which I like, yet it's still like a very simple pop song kind of thing. Like, these first two tracks here kind of sound terrible together. It was just scratch guitar and just the bare basic beat I just slapped together that I thought a guitar riff could fit to, and this is how that sounded. So that was just kind of to get the ideas across when I made that. I don't know how long ago now. And these drums aren't mixed yet. The bass drum's way too loud and it's probably terrible sounding, but it will just show you how much more intense this got over the past month with just the drums. So yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with this one. Now it's Sunday, March 14th, almost 6 o'clock, and I'm sitting down to finally try and write some lyrics and vocal parts. I've basically got nothing, haven't started. I've got my coffee, got the guitar, got it all set up. So now I'm just gonna lay some vocal melodies over the top of this, just kind of hum it out, see what I can come up with. No lyrics, just melodies, and then I'll fit some lyrics to it, and we'll see what happens. So just to show what a tedious process this can be, I've been working for over an hour. It's like 7:20 something. I've basically hummed a verse melody, and I have some like notes I might hit in a pre-chorus or chorus, but that's it. Like, I spent a while listening to some other bands that have faster vocals, just because I'm not used to doing any kind of faster vocal in my songs. I usually go for the kind of longer held out notes, but this one is such a groovy and energetic song that it needs something more staccato. So I was listening to a bit of Red Hot Chili Peppers and some Ed Sheeran stuff, and Imagine Dragons, One Republic, stuff that have occasionally done parts where, you know, you get a mouthful of words all at once, just for some inspiration, and it helped a little bit. It kind of got me to think of, well, they're doing either lower vocal melodies in the verses, or sometimes they go higher in the verses and then they go lower in the choruses, and it just has a different aesthetic that could help me in my song. And so hopefully the verse melody actually works out, because it's the only thing I got done. But I'm trying to make this song as perfect as I can, really spending time on the vocals, because that's always my weak point, and this song is so different for me that it requires even more time. But at least I got somewhere. One perk to taking incredibly long to write songs, really the only perk, is that I can gradually build up enough money to purchase more stuff that makes my recording sound better. And so yeah, I've bought a new microphone because I'm sick of recording with my phone. This song has taken me over 4 months now, nearing 5, if it's not already at 5. And I did the instrumentation in like a week. And I've been stuck on the lyrics and vocal parts ever since. Total writer's block. I've let it get in the way of my creativity in other areas for too long, to the extent that there was a week there where I just said screw it and I did something else, and I created an entire progressive thrashish metal song because I have to do something. That's turning out pretty well, but these lyrics, I work on them every day, at least in my head, and I think I've probably changed a word every day or something of the sort. I've just been stuck on the pre-chorus for so long. I have nothing for the pre-chorus, which is vital because it decides what I say and how the verses sound, as well as the chorus. It's the connecting point, and it's gonna make the song either make sense or be crap. Now I just mull over my sorrows with ice cream. It's finally time to record vocals, and I'm just gonna kind of squeeze in hopefully a few minutes every day after work. I just got off work, but I can't record vocals unless I'm alone. There are a couple lines that aren't quite done, but I think I'll be able to figure those out as I go, as I hear how it all sounds, what the best flow will be for that. Now it's Thursday, June 17th, and I have today and tomorrow off. Hopefully I can actually finish the vocals for once. Through my occasional 20 minutes or so every few days that I've been alone, I've gotten both verses done, both pre-choruses, and so now I just have the 3 choruses and the bridge, and if I can't get that done in 2 days, that's bad. Now it's 11:18. I don't really know what time I started anymore. Maybe 9:30? I just spent all that time on the choruses, and I got really stuck on the first chorus. Like, I did it over and over, and being stuck on it, I tried so many different things and none of it sounded right to me, and I was really scared, like, oh man, I'm not going to get the second and third choruses done today because this first one is burning my voice out, and it's taking me... I worked on the first one for maybe an hour and a half, I don't know, pretty much this whole time, and then I figured out how to do it. I figured out something that sounded right to me, that sounded fitting, like just the way to do it. And then I blew through it, and then the second and third choruses, I did maybe 3 takes on each of them, and now the choruses are done. Like, I've had the melody written this whole time. I knew what I wanted it to sound like, but I didn't know how to do it with my voice yet. I've officially reached the point in this recording where I can do bass, which is always the last thing I do recording-wise, because I like to hear it alongside the vocals and the rest of the instrumentation, which is usually more front and center than the bass, and it allows me to fit it more properly to those instruments, but it also helps me know what kind of little additions and fills I can do in the background and make sure that it's not going to mess anything up because I have everything else recorded. Is probably the best part for the bass. Everything else is really simple. This is simple too, but it's definitely the loudest and most complex part, but I'm just kind of slapping it down. with it. It is now the night before we leave for over a week on a trip back home to the Midwest. And I'm going to attempt to do a little bit of mixing. Usually at this point my songs don't sound the greatest recording quality, but this song actually is in a pretty good state right now, so my job is almost just not to ruin it. This is the part where I add effects like reverb and delay, and I change the volumes of stuff and just kind of how stuff sounds in general. But as much as I wish I could just have like 2 days right now to get it done rather than maybe the hour that I have or so, it might be good that I only have right now and then I have to take a break for so long, because then I can come back to it with a fresher perspective and see if I actually like what I've mixed. So this is how tedious this whole process is, and how filled I've made this song with just little details. I normally haven't done songs with little background things. I normally just have kind of my main parts like guitar, drums, bass, vocals, whatever. But in this song I added just kind of little things, and it's making mixing this song a lot more detailed, because this thing here with the yellow, for example, is just this. That's all it is. That's the entire part. Happens multiple times in the song, but I have to choose the volume and the sound of that as it happens within the song. Here's it along with everything else. You might not even be able to hear it. I don't know. So it just adds that kind of tiny little addition, just that little swell at the beginning there. And I get to choose the volume of that. And that's just one of the many things. This little thing here was probably the coolest accident that I had during this song. It's literally just a cymbal, but I had just cranked the delay and reverb on it in GarageBand on my phone where I made the drums, and it ended up just kind of amping up the song. Like it's the background thing there. All right, so it's July 30th, Friday night. It's about the 2000th day of mixing this song. Right now I'm just playing it over my computer built-in speakers. It's a method I haven't tried yet to listen to it. I've listened to it on my huge monitors. I've listened to it with headphones. I've listened to it with earbuds. Every time you change the speaker, you notice different things. It sounds a little different. Something sounds louder than before, something's quieter. And when I play it through just my computer speakers, I'm like, well, the main vocal is really up front, and my vocals are usually the worst thing about my songs, so now I feel like I should turn it down. The backing vocals aren't as noticeable either, which they're a main part of the song. The guitar falls a little behind in the chorus. And yeah, it's always just good to test it on multiple things. I finished mixing this song probably 2 or 3 days ago. Just kind of came down to me just saying, okay, it's never going to be perfect, but this is going to be my first official song. I've done other songs, they're on YouTube and SoundCloud and all that stuff, but this one is going to be the first one that I put on streaming services and stuff so that the mass public can hear it. So I want it to sound better than anything I've done before at the very least. So it took longer than ever to mix this than I have with anything else, ever. I usually don't put too much thought into stuff because it's never mattered as much as this. And now I'm on the mastering step, and I'm putting a lot more thought into that than I have before, because normally I've been really ignorant about mastering and I've just put on my stock plugins from Pro Tools, and it basically is just a limiter and called it good. But I've gotten a little better with the past couple songs I've done, but this one I'm really gonna do my research and master, and part of that is something I just downloaded. It's probably a very generic option at this point because it was so commonly suggested and talked about, but it's called Ozone 9 by Isotope. It's a high quality mastering plugin, and it can either pretty much just do it for you, or you can change parameters, and it's got a lot of options. I figured, why not try it out? There was a 10-day free trial, and of course my old computer is having a hard time running it anyways because I need a new computer. Okay, so after about 10 minutes of having to reboot my whole system because it ran out of CPU and crashed, I've now run the mastering assistant that created its own master. It made it a bit louder. That's really the only difference I can tell, whereas normally when I've done my own mastering, I tend to make things a little more saturated and bring some low and high end out. So here's it without this. And then if I turn it back on, it's a little louder. After messing with Ozone a bit more, I've discovered its main benefit is that it has just so many options that you can apply to it. Like, I went ahead and applied like a stereo widener kind of thing. There's a low-end focus, which, you know, helps sculpt the low end of the song in different ways. It's got an EQ, it's got a dynamic EQ, maximizer, like there's just tons of stuff. And so I think it will wind up being my best mastered track after I'm finally done here. Today I'm just listening to it on my speakers and seeing what it sounds like with different things turned on and off. And then I think I'm finally done, and then I have to do the artwork and all that stuff. Really, I just have to call it. I'm sure I could edit it for a year more if I wanted to, but it's got to be done. And that finally concludes this video. Thank you for watching, and I hope you got something out of it, whether that was entertainment or pity for how long it takes me to put together the shortest song I've ever made. In the end, this is turning out to be my first official song on streaming services. I didn't expect it to go this way at the beginning. I didn't think I was going to be making the best sounding song I've ever made. I was just kind of throwing something together for a class project with the Ryan Tedder monthly class, and that deadline was missed by many months, but in the end this was an incredibly worthwhile experience, whether it had to do with the class or not. And this will be the first song I'll have completed for an eventual album. Now that I have gained the knowledge and skills from this project, I feel like I can create more songs that sound this good, and that is like a door opening for me. I can't wait to finally release some actual music to people. With that said, I hope you enjoy the song. It should be out shortly after this video, and thanks for watching again.